haven't seen it, these are my new headphones. They're not black, which is kind of weird for anything that I own, because everything is black. But yeah, they have rainbow lights on them, which is pretty cool. I'm going to be watching some hockey today. I have some hockey to catch up on. I'm only going to catch up on the US and the Canada game. But if you want to watch, feel free to come hang out. I'm going to start with the Canada-Finland game. I know that we had a benched Sidney Crosby because of his knee, I think. So we're just gonna see how. My cat's acting very sus. Hey Daniel, welcome in. How are you? I'm about to put the Olympics on in Discord, and so we can watch that together if you want. And if you need help, I'd be happy to kind of walk you through how to get onto Discord. Although I think you're a pro now. So let us tomato. So again, I'm going to start out with the Canada game. So this is Canada versus Finland. Both of these are replays. Both the games that I want to watch today are going to be replay games. So we already know the score. If you want to look to find them out, you can go ahead and do that. I'm not going to spoil anything. How are you doing, Daniel? Also, let me know if my audio's okay or if it sounds like shit. So, both the Canada and the Finnish team have Carolina Hurricane players. Sebastian Aho is on the Finn team, and then we have Seth Jarvis from the Canes on the Canadian team. So we're just going to go ahead and put that on in Discord. You really don't have to. This is where you can watch. Okay, something's happening with my audio. Holy shit. Scared the fuck out of me. I decided to like mute randomly and I unmuted it. And I was like, oh my gosh. I read that there's a rule that you have to have a captain, like someone with a C on them. So because they don't have Sidney Crosby suited up, they put Connor McDavid up. Hold on one second. Let's see what my headphones. So I've been working on. I started my halfway to Halloween patches. So this is my first. I mean, it could always be cleaner, it could always be better, but I'm not great at embroidery, so I think that this is kind of as good as I can get. Um, and I'm pretty happy with it. I'm pretty happy with it, honestly. So was kind of toying around whether or not I wanted to embroider the eyes or sew on the eyes for like a crochet, and then putting like a brow bone kind of piece to kind of cover the eyes a little bit and make them kind of set in a little bit. So I might play with that, and then I'll move to a different horror icon. So the brow bone would be something really simple like that, but then it would lay on top. Try to do this backwards of the eye and kind of give it some more dimension, especially something as distinct as like the puppet. Hey Daniel, welcome in. I think I might want to make it a little bit longer. You okay, dude? You okay? Okay, so scissors. Oh yeah, I think that looks better. This one looks better than that one, don't you think? Because it can kind of lay over and give some more dimension. So just making a one over here. And I'm gonna go ahead and sew these on. Sorry, I'm making my. Someone definitely has these zoomies right now, and his name is Scudger. Hi, baby. Hi. He said, I don't like being held. I'm going to bother you until you hold me like a little baby, little roly poly. He was very snuggly this morning. It was like, you gotta be hanging out with my dad, touching my dad, cuddling with his feet, walking on his chest. I've been loving all of the Quinn Hughes memes and the clips, and just like I I like the rest of the internet. I just can't get enough of Quinn Hughes because he's just so Quinn Hughes. There's something about like I don't know, like I know that like Olympic hockey, maybe this is kind of blasphemous to say, but like Olympic hockey is supposed to be like the most exciting, the best of the best. Like, but I don't know. I feel like maybe it's because the physicality, some of the physicality is taken out of Olympic games and stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't feel like it's as like electric and like as entertaining as like a normal NHL game. I feel like the NHL pours so much into keeping the game exciting that I'm not totally sure that you know I'm not sure that's exactly how I wanted to sell it. No, not quite. Try this, but I think that I might have to change my spelling a little bit. Oh, does that look right? Let's try something different. Hey, Chris, welcome in. We are watching Canada versus Finland in the semifinals. This is the men's. The women's tournament has ended. U.S. came out victorious. Congratulations to the women who played very, very hard, produced some fantastic games. So yeah, we're watching them in Discord. I'm working on a pattern for my halfway to Halloween. This is going to be Jigsaw, a Polylolly Perry. That is a very fun name to say. It makes my brain happy. So yeah, so I'm crocheting this, which is going to be part of the crochet along. So hopefully you can kind of tell who this is. Um, and so I'm just kind of like tweaking some little bits here and there to make it look cool and not like shit. Um, you know, um, Perry, if you want to come hang, if you want to watch hockey with us, you can do so for free. there is a Discord link right there in the chat that Nightbot has dropped. Hopefully, it still works. Sometimes I have to update it. But that is to get into our Discord server. And then you can go into our Discord server, and then on the left hand side there are voice channels, and in that voice channel option, there's the lounge, and you can watch the game for free. Because I put it on because I like watching hockey, and I like watching hockey with my friends. So if this is something that you want to do, and you're having some trouble with it, just let me know. Happy to help because I know Discord can be a little bit weird and confusing. Um, and yeah, let me know who you're rooting for. What are you up to? Are you a crafter? Are you a maker? Anything like that? I love that. Every time, every time they score, I'm like, wow, wow, wow. And then obviously, if we give up a goal or bad jokes, I love the sounds. Yeah, thank you, thank you. I just kind of went for it. Oh, kind of never know how these things are gonna shake out, but I felt like it turned out pretty good. Okay, so I sewed the top instead of the bottom, and I really like the way that looks a lot better. I feel like the nose is lopsided, but I'm I'm a crocheter. I'm not a fucking embroiderist. Like I don't know. I'm doing my best here, y'all. It was better than me like literally crocheting everything and trying to just sew it all on because I just couldn't make that fit with how small I'm making this. Like this is like 3.5 inches tall and like what is that? 6 inches wide. I don't know. But thank you for the feedback. I really like truly do appreciate that. Um, and what I need to do, because I'm not a fraud, is I need to watch more of the Saw movies because I've only truly seen like one. I've seen clips of like the others, but um, I need to catch up. Yeah, I think that that looks better. So if I have to tie something in a if I have to do something in a pair, I'm not tying it off yet until I can make sure the other side matches, so that I can kind of um, so that I can readjust one side or the other if I end up liking one better than the other. The back looks like shit, but it's gonna be so my idea is I'm gonna make a bunch of patches of different floor icons, very similar to hold on one second. A lot of the horror icons I was thinking of were the ones that I drew for the cover photo. So doing all of these in crochet patches and then making a cardigan and sewing everything to the cardigan. So it'd be like this like amalgamation of whatever you like on you know cardigan. Hey Lori, welcome in. But I mean, even though the Olympics have been fun because of the timing and catching up to games and like all the stuff and just the stakes of the Olympics, I'm definitely ready to go back to the Olympics. Wait, sorry, the regular NHL season. Also, I feel like I have a clearer idea for who to root for. I think Pennywise is the next one I'm gonna make. I think there's a lot of similarities in it, um, so I feel like that would be a good place to go. Do you have like a favorite Saw movie, or like when do you think like what are your like take it or leave it's like ones that you like feel like are like necessary to like keep in for like the because they're up to like 10 movies now, right? So like which ones are necessary and which ones are like yeah. I'm not gonna be a whole lot of it, I'm not gonna be a whole lot of help when I'm doing the crochet along to be like, this is how you embroider and sew things because I'm just literally making shit up. But you know, I think most people come to me for instruction anyways. This one doesn't look quite as good, but it's not the worst thing I could have done. So I'm just gonna boop boop boop. Just fucking deal with it. I'm gonna change the Discord link just because, like, I know it sometimes it sends out, so I want to make sure that that's accurate. If you're new to my channel, I do a bunch of shit here, and I'm open to doing more shit. I don't really care. I just come to have fun. Um, and uh, so I watch hockey pretty frequently. NHL. Want to start watching PWHL, um, and uh, and then also we've been watching the Olympics. We watch the women's. We're watching the men's, and then also I'm hoping to watch the Paralympics hockey because that looks just super cool. Um, okay, so now it's updated just in case it pops up. That horn will never not be funny. They got some of that chirp. They got some of that chirp for sure. You totally dropped the F bomb after the Olympics. Fucking Martian. Little rat human. So they're not even, but I think that that eyelid really, really did us a favor. It looks so much better. I can't believe I was wondering about this. That looks way better. So I'm not gonna, yeah, I'm not gonna outline it in gray or anything. I feel like that texture is enough, but I think that's pretty cool. So just gonna tie up the knots. It's gonna be covered by the cardigan. Mm, Finland just scored on Canada in the power play. I love Aho. He's just got the cutest little face. Yeah, I'm a simple man. I don't know what you want from me. Oh, damn it. I spilled my coffee everywhere. Not much into sports, but I do like the World Cup for soccer. I haven't watched the World Cup in so long, and I do like soccer. Like, I was raised in a soccer family. I was the only person who didn't play soccer. Long story. It wasn't that I wouldn't want to play soccer, but that's beside the fact. So I do like soccer. I think it's a really amazing game. The athleticism is insane when you think about how much those players run. Just if you're only looking at that facet, it's insane, right? Um, so yeah, it's electric. But I haven't watched a World Cup in so long. I just feel like that would be really cool to watch. I last year I started to get back into uh, like late last year I started to get back into hockey because I used to watch hockey pretty frequently because I grew up in North Carolina and so I grew up with Hurricanes. Um, and I love the Hurricanes. And then I moved out to LA, and was wanting to go out to a game. So I went to an LA Kings game, which was just a fun fucking time. And had a really good time with that. You know, I feel like there's not much that beats like a live um, game or like an in-person game. So I really had a good time with that. And I've only been to one game in person. No, I went to when I visited Raleigh. I went to a North Carolina game, and that was insane. Oh my gosh, it was insane. It was North Carolina. It was the Carolina Hurricanes versus the Florida Panthers, and the Florida Panthers were known for being just like the Florida Panthers, which is something you would expect to come out of Florida. And they're also the reigning Stanley Cup champions. And like the score was 9-1 uh, with Carolina winning. Like it was such a like they demolished them. It was so beautiful. It was like it was such a bad fucking spanking that you almost felt bad for the other team. Almost. So that's been something I wanted to do. Get back in hockey. It's just a fun sport to watch. And then I also started getting into baseball last year because living in LA, like I really this was before the World Series last year, but I just was really I love the kind of like social like connection that people in LA had over winning the World Series and um, thought it was really cool. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll watch some. And then I ended up watching the entire World Series and a little bit leading up to that, and then got to see them go for a two-peat, if you will, and see them win the World Series again in 2025. So I got to watch all that, and it was super super fun. So yeah, I'm interested in some sports, but I haven't followed a lot of them, you know, for most of my life. So still like getting into them. But soccer would be cool. Soccer is a really good sport to get into, and totally disagree with people who don't think it's interesting because it's insane. Like I don't understand how people can think of that sport as sport personally. Okay, so yeah, I've got this. I have this in the back, which looks like shit garbage, but that's okay. I'm just gonna start tying knots. Okay, so at the end of the verse, Finland has one goal. So yeah, so I'm thinking I'm gonna do Pennywise um, next. I'm tying some really like rough knots. I'm not trying to make it look too good because again, I'm just gonna sandwich this against the the cardigan. So I don't really I just need it to hold. Like that's it. when you watch the World Cup, are you like typically like rooting for a specific team? Or are you kind of like rooting for whoever is favored? Are you just kind of there for the whole experience? Because I've never watched it. I was saying, I definitely watched the World Cup, but it's been well over a decade, if not more. So I like really have only have these like foggy memories. Of what was like. So I found these black ends, which that's really the only part that I feel like I need to fill in. I want to drive a Zamboni so damn bad. My audio kind of got a little weird. Did anyone else's audio get weird? Or I feel like it felt like it cut one of my ears, like my right feed. I feel like usually you can't hear this much with the arena audio. Okay, so during the intermission, I always forget to stretch, and then in the middle of the game, I'm like, my body hurts because I'm old. So I'm gonna stretch. If you want to take this time to stretch too, do whatever you want. I'm not your fucking dad. Oh, that's a good stretch. That's a good stretch. So I have this really cool yarn that I've had for a while. Um, that I um, was gonna make a cardigan out of anyways, and now I think it'd be really good for the base cardigan because normally I would do something in black because, like you all know, everything I wear is black. Um, but but because like things like this are going to have a lot of black in them, they won't. This will totally disappear in the background of a black cardigan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do purple, which is variegated purple, and I don't know why the like organ, like when they do like remix songs on the organs, like sometimes it's so fun and it's like so quintessentially Aussie, and like sometimes it's just like the corniest fucking you've ever heard, and you're like, I hate this. Okay, so the it's called Spun Colors. Yeah, Premiere Spun Colors. This color is fucking nuts. So this is the color right here. Like, that's so tasty. So this is the color. So this is Spun Colors by Premier, and you can get it at Hershey's. You can get it Premier. Oh, apparently there's a lot of other stuff. But the color I got was mauve right here. So it's very pretty. But it looks different in this photo than it does in the photo when you like open up the Spun Colors. Um, like when you look at that, I feel like it looks different. And the actual yarn looks a lot more like this picture. It's very pretty, very vibrant, very like mystical, magical, musical, whatever. Um, so I that's the can be like the base of the uh, cardigan. Random note, but I'm trying to grow my hair out, like especially on the sides, because the sides I usually get cut down to a fade, and like I hate everything about growing my hair out. It's annoying, but nobody cares, and it's gotta be done. So you know what I watched last night? Because I've heard that there are talks about a women's baseball league coming back. Um, I watched A League of Their Own um, because it obviously like the movie's great and it tells like a real story. Um, but it's like crazy to think that like they're like since they shut down that league, like there hasn't been something to replace it, as far as I understand, like for all this time. And so you have women who are like wanting to play baseball, and the, there's just like a league like it doesn't seem to be like a league for them to play professionally. And so even after the success of you know what we've seen historically with women's baseball leagues, there's a there's a creator on the internet, either like Instagram or something like that, and she follows women's sports, and her name is Coach Jackie, and I get so much information about women's sports uh, from her page because like honestly like I just kind of never wasn't a super big sports fan anyways, but then if I did watch a sport, it was always going to be like the male version. Like it's just, I never really thought about it, and so kind of hearing all these like amazing things that like women were doing in sports, I was like, oh shit, like why the hell am I not paying attention? So that's been a big thing this year for me is to make sure that I'm giving like equal support to everyone, or at least like giving them the chance to, you know, check out like to check out the sport and like see if it's a good fit for like my, you know, watching style or fan type or whatever. And so that's why I want to not only watch, women's hockey, and I watched women's hockey for the first time this year, but also like watch the Paralympics because Paralympians they're insane. They're insane. Like the the their athletic ability to like sit in buckets and move around behind us like I was talking to my dad about it because he didn't know anything about Paralympic hockey, and I was like, there's like Dad, they're on their asses, like they have a skate underneath them and they're skating around, and he was like, oh, like he's like, and I was like, I can't even skate. I told my dad, and he was like, well, maybe it would be better if you were on your ass, and I was like, no, it would be worse. It's like they're better. athletes. Like that's so much like core control. Like oh my gosh, insane. No, I would not be better. I'd be infinitely worse. Okay, so ends are sewn in. Back looks horrific. Front looks horrific in a different way. So now that I have Billy, okay. So if you know Saw, am I wrong in saying that this is Jigsaw? Is Jigsaw the person who controls Billy, the puppet, or is Billy also Jigsaw? Because I always thought that this was Jigsaw, but is this not? Let me know because I don't know shit. Yes, yes to what? I asked like 10 questions at the same time. Sorry, I'm so bad at that. I'm so bad at that. I feel like one that would be pretty easy to do would be to do a Jason Voorhees because like this was kind of like a weird. His head's a weird shape, but I don't think it's too different than what you would need to do for Pennywise. Mm, mm. Jigsaw makes the tapes and uses Billy the puppet for the talking, so to speak, something like that. No, okay, that makes sense. Okay, yeah. So the what I made is Billy, but Jigsaw controls Billy. Okay, cool. Yeah, because I was like, this is Jigsaw, and then I'm like, I received some feedback that this was not Jigsaw, this was Billy. Mhm. That makes sense. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So one thing, so I have this white yarn. Um, I don't really have like a good like dirty colored yarn for Jason, but I can could use some paint, water that down, make it look dirty. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Ooh, was a squat. Sorry if I'm moving the thing a little bit. Oh, okay, and back. Ooh, auto touchdown Wilson. Oh my god, why is that so funny? Well, it's just like this huge brick wall, and Otto is just like this, like average for an NHLer, like size little sweetie pie Finnish boy. Oh, the Finns score again at a man disadvantage, nonetheless. Okay, so I need to do some math. So I have 12 and makes good circle, and then I need to have 24 and 18. Okay, Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. Starting to get that oval shape of the mask. Now, I could go a bunch of different sizes with this, but to have the most detail, the bigger the better. So I think at least one more round, maybe two. I feel like I probably want to go the biggest I could. So let's go. Let's try to go for two. Nobody literally listening gives a shit about this. Let's be honest, but whatever. It's called hooks and hockey, y'all. Okay. So now some mathing. Upside enemy pop. Oh, very burpy. I apologize. I apologize. Y'all, don't even worry. Okay, so I went from I'm gonna go to 36. Six. Six, seven, 5, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. 10, 12, 13. Okay. Sipping on Mountain Dew. Baja Blast. Can, can Coke. Ice cold. I love Baja Blast, but it just never is like the same as that magical experience when you get it from Taco Bell and it's from a fountain. Like, yes, it's so good. Um, I, yeah, I love Mountain Dew Baja Blast, but it's so much better from the fountain. You know, you just can't get that majesty from it. I think I like Code Red. Like I like it from a can. It's Code Red for me. I don't really drink Mountain Dew much, but when I do the do. That's what I do. Yes. I haven't had Taco Bell in so long. There's not that many Taco Bells here in LA because there's so many other options for actual Mexican food. I was like doing some fancy math. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so smart, so genius. And then it's actually like really just basic as hell. It's just like what you do every time. And then stand up and stretch a little bit. Why do I always have like a little black spot on my screen? And I'm like, "Wait, there's the puck. Why is no one going to get it?" It's just something random on my screen. What is happening to my computer screen? Go, Jarvie. So I think despite all of my fancy math, it ended up to be non-fancy math. This is gonna just turn back into a circle after I tried to make it an oval. So I think I'm gonna change some of the stitches up. Why would you want a product called New Low? Like, dude, I've had plenty of lows. I don't need a new one. Okay, it's still pretty okay, it's still an oval. It's still an oval. Ian can make an oval. Look at that, y'all. I like that. Size wise, we're kind of in the realm. Now, when I did the hair of Billy, that made it a lot bigger. So I think if I, because really the only, I want to do the nose and I want to do the eyes. I think that those will be cool to crochet and add and sew to it. And so I think the more space I have to work with, the more options I have with how I do um, that. So I wonder if I just do the standard increase here, if it'll keep it shape. So I'm just gonna try that. so much cat hair and everything that I do. Oh man, they couldn't connect. Oh, I said, I feel like if Canada doesn't score on this power play, there's going to be a lot to be said about what their playing is going, what's going on today. I mean, I know the final score, and I won't spoil it if you don't know the final score. Uh, but they've got to utilize this power play. Come on, guys, you got to get it in. What the hell? Oh, they got it. They just had to keep applying that pressure. They weren't going to be able to keep that up. Okay, so this is where we've gotten to perfect, I think, for the face. Um, and so I'm gonna finish that off. I don't think we needed to do anything particularly fancy with that one. Luckily, that's an easier shape to create. Sweet hands. Okay, so just a white oval. Nothing fancy. There's a bunch of different versions depending on which movie you have watched. So one way that you can dye yarn and change the color of yarn is to use watered down acrylic paint, like cheap acrylic paint, and use that to kind of dye your yarn because it's acrylic paint, which is plastic, and it will adhere to the plastic of acrylic yarn. So I think I'm going to do that to give it some like life and texture and stuff like that. Um, but I'm gonna kind of wait to do that till I'm off camera, just so I can kind of play with some colors and stuff like that, and also spread out a little bit beyond the bed. So let's get some eyes going. I gotta find. There's no black. There it is. Scotty's laying against it. He's so silly. Ugly S. Magic ring. So 2 minutes left in the second. Okay, so I made a little oval like that. It's pretty. It's like a little big. Let me retry it. Okay, I made a smaller one. I think I like it. Yeah, look at that. Can you? It's like turning when I turn my. That's a good size. Cool. Well, good morning. I'm so distracted with making these. So this is what I made. I did the brows because I wasn't sure about how the eyes were sitting. So this is Billy, as we've established. His name is Billy, and I was incorrect that his name was Jigsaw. It's not the best sewing job that you've ever seen, but or best embroidery job that you've ever seen, but you know, it never was gonna be. So looks like it looks okay. You can tell who it is, I think. So If someone's better at embroidery than me, they will have a much easier time. You could also use like embroidery thread, and it would be a lot easier. I think I do have embroidery thread. Probably would be smarter to use. Yeah, maybe I'll use it on another project just to show us that you can use that instead. And then that, like I got the notes like, yeah, I tried. Yeah, it's a little off center, like one side is higher, but I fiddled with it so much. I was like, you know what, this is good enough. Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to crochet it was fun and a good challenge, but I was I was not any closer to figuring out how to do that. I was just like, okay, okay, cool. Actually, I'm gonna take a break really quickly. But we're in the second intermission. So the score is one Canada, I believe, to Finland. Honestly, I'm like a little bit kind of half paying attention because I know the final score. Um, but yeah, I will be right back, and we'll continue watching the rest of the game, and I'll continue working on Jason. If I didn't mention, that's the only other one, Jason Voorhees. So yeah, we will do that. But I will mute for a second. I'm back. Tired of feeling like crap. Just like getting up and stretching. I took all my energy out. I'm like, ugh. We've only watched like one of the two games to watch. Just tired of being sick. Something I think that would help me that I don't actually have any of, which I mean I haven't sewn in a while, so I guess it makes sense. But having some like straight pins, so that I could pin pieces. Hey Winter, welcome in. Um, we are watching the men's Canada versus Finland semifinal. Um, just trying to catch up on Olympic games. There's just so many. I'm like not even watching any other sports pretty much. So it's just I did want to watch the women's like long program or free skate or whatever they call it. But I made Billy. I don't. I think he's okay. He's like a little uneven. He's got some personality, as these things do. But I was thinking of making a bunch of like applique style or like patches style designs that are relatively flat, and then doing that for the cow, and then making a cardigan at the end where I put all of the patches on there. So this is my first. Is it great? This is the best I can do. Yeah. So, and then I'm working on Jason Voorhees right now. So I have my white yarn and I have his little eyes. And then I want to do his nose because his nose is pretty distinct. And then, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to paint or dye the yarn because I don't like the pristine white of his mask. Because he never has a pristine white mask. It's always, you know, um, appears in a lake. So I want it to be kind of grimy and cruddy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to water down some acrylic paints, and I'm going to get this nice and cruddy looking. After I do the nose, so I can make sure that the nose is the same color and the right size. So, so yeah, so I have a bunch of different. What I did. So this is going to be the cover of the like YouTube like cow. I put this together. It's not perfect, but it's okay. And so I'm just kind of going through some of these characters. Some of them will be included, some of them won't. Um, and then I'm most proud of Elvira. I think I'm really happy because I'm not great at drawing faces, especially not pretty ones. So I feel like I really got her vibe. It's so much easier to make. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I tried to do this with embroidery and like the nose. I was trying to crochet a nose, and I was just like, Lori, like organized spent 2 hours on it, and it was just so sometimes it's just easier. Although like now that I think about it, I'm like I could have used embroidery thread and had smaller. It would have been some of the things would have been easier. I remember that Jason plush. It was very cute. But yeah, I want to like give options where I like, because like what I'm gonna do is I'm designing these and then I'm gonna make them live because I feel like that was part of what made the Halloween that we did. What made it not very interactive and like a cow was that we weren't making it in real time, like live for people. So I'm gonna be making it again live, um, and show people how to make each one. Um, and I want to give them options. Like, let's say they don't have paints, they don't like to paint, or like anything like that. Give them options for crocheting the features, certain features. This one was just too much, but I did crochet the eyes and the brows, and like the brows slash eyelids, so that it would give some. I just thought it looked better that way. Um, but like, yeah, it could honestly be like this, and then someone could paint on everything, or they could crochet the eyes and the nose. I'm also gonna do, I think for the holes in his mask, I think I'm gonna embroider a French knot. So that's what it'll look like. So that's gonna be all yarn. The only thing that's gonna be the shade of his mask is gonna be, kind of gross, swampy looking. I'm jamming out on this music. Has my mic been muted this whole time, or did it just mute it? Like I got a notification that my mic was muted, and I was like, "What?" So it's basically his is just like a big triangle. So where'd the music go? What's happening? Not sure. I like this way that I'm going. So currently, Finland is leading by 2. Looks a little bit like a kind of kind of looks a little bit like a snowman nose or something, but his nose is quite square. I could make it a little bit more at the top, like a little bit straighter and higher up in the bridge. I think I'm gonna do that. I love this like R&D part of like making patterns and stuff though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Come on, Jarvie. Okay, so now I have it like this. Also, when you make a bunch of noses, you start to realize that all noses basically look like penises, and it becomes very weird very fast. I think this is close. I think I just want to. I want to do one more up top and then finish off with a double, so it kind of brings it back in. And maybe you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about yet. You make no sense, and I'm done with listening to you. To which I would reply, okay, fair. Hey, Bridget, welcome in. I am working on some of my halfway to Halloween, or half. I keep saying that. Just might just change the name. Halfway to Halloween, like patches. So I made Billy from Saw. I'm working on Jason Voorhees right now. How are you doing, Bridget? Okay, so I feel like with the right sewing, this could be exactly what I wanted. Perfect. Okay. Yes, I'm writing the pattern. So what I'm going to be doing is I am writing the pattern. I'm going to be releasing it for free. I'm going to be it's going to be on my blog for free. I'm going to be doing a video. Well, I'm going to actually, instead of video, I'm going to be working on it live so that you can, anyone who wants to work on it with me can work on it with me live, asking questions as we go. And this is all going to be for halfway to Halloween. So it starts at the end of March. But uh, but yes, I'm going to have all of that. So you can, hey, Stephanie, welcome in. Working on your wall hanging. Nice. So yes, there will be a video like live that you can follow along with if you don't like written patterns, or there'll be a written pattern that you can use, and all of that will be yes, go USA with the gold, pulling gold with was it 6 minutes or was it 2 minutes? It might have been 6 minutes. Yeah, right. It was definitely a lot of time. Oh yeah, yes, yes, yes. They pulled that gold pretty early and just really went for it. And like sometimes that does not work in your favor, right? It's a risky thing. So it was really fun to watch. I think it was 6 minutes. I think you're before. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was something that was bigger than like two that they usually do. So you're right. Seen so many games. It's all hurting my brain lately. So yeah, I've already written the pattern for Billy. Um, it's gonna have a lot of ways you can customize it. Um, and the back looks like this, so not great. But what I'm planning on doing is I'm gonna create a bunch of patches like this, and then I'm also gonna do a cardigan where at the end where we can put um, all of the patches on the cardigan. But if you want to do like granny squares and you want to sew these on granny squares, so there's bags or scarves or whatever, do that too. So it'll be customizable. Um, but yeah, so that's what I wanted to do with this. I'm super excited. Tied, turned momentum and won. Felt bad for the Canadian team. But honestly, I mean, the Canadian team did not do badly. They should definitely feel proud of themselves. I mean, because they get wrecked in their first meetup with USA. I mean, it's what 5-0. The second, so it's you know they did definitely you know weren't playing at full capacity then. They had their star player not playing like then. So uh, they and they definitely felt it throughout the team. You could see they just got mowed over by the USA the first time they met. So I'm glad that Canada was able to put up a good fight, and they definitely did. Um, so because it definitely didn't go. I mean, we were also expecting like a blowout, right? The USA to just totally annihilate them. And that's not the game that we saw. So it was a good game to watch. The whole time. Sorry if I'm 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Was on top two. Yeah, so I don't know what happened to YouTube where it automatically has moved everyone on like YouTube to default to top chat because you just miss people and it makes no sense. Um, so So yeah, because this is so stark white, you could do this for the hockey mask of Jason, but I feel like it's not really, it doesn't really kind of give the vibe that I want. So instead, I'm going to dye it using acrylic paint. So what's everyone up to tonight? So yeah, so this is the nose. So this is kind of how it will look. And then here is an eye. And then for the holes in the mask, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take black yarn and I'm going to do a French knot, um, like you would do in embroidery, and that's going to create kind of the whole appearance. All of this stuff you can paint instead, but I wanted to give some options with yarn, so if the people are a little bit more comfortable doing that, then they could. Oh, I thought that went in. I thought that went in. David is freaky fast. He's so fast. So let me get some stuff to paint because I'm here. I might as well paint. So I'm just gonna put a bowl of water on top of my laptop. So I have more colors somewhere. Okay. So I have these colors, and then I've got just some kind of basic colors. I think I'm gonna go with kind of these. So I feel a little bit more comfortable with them. So kind of see. Ooh. Now, is this the best place to decide that you want to, paint and stuff? Just sitting on your bed? No, don't recommend it. It's a really piss poor idea. But when am I the fucking king of good ideas? Oh, that was tough, 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 tough. Okay, so I'm just just putting a bunch of colors on the lid paint case that I have. Paint case. It's an old lid container. Let's be honest. And I'm just gonna paint on top of this box that I got for my headset. If I can. Okay, so I only want to paint the white pieces. So I'm just putting some on the yarn and then like rubbing it in to get it into the stitch, and then also to kind of look a little bit different. I'm trying not to be too precise with it. And watering it down helps because you don't get this like kind of cake of color and like uh, it's not like a sheet of plastic that you can't like sew through and everything. I'll show you all in a second kind of what it's looking like so far as I kind of dirty this up. So like this is kind of what that's kind of getting blown out, isn't it? So that's kind of where we're going with it. And I'll show you all what it looks like when like before um, I spread the paint around. So you can see this part right there where it's kind of just on the surface of the stitches. Oh, no, right there. It's on the surface of the stitches. And then I just take my finger while it's still wet and I rub it out. And that's what it looks like. So it just kind of gets like a little bit more grungy, a little bit more dirty. And I do want to like focus the color a little bit, being wild and crazy, having tacos on Friday. My gosh, you are nuts. I also want to focus more color on the outside, just as that seems to be how the kind of like mold and mildew on his mask shows up, and it will give some dimension. you also take your brush and kind of jam it in there, kind of getting some different levels of that color that you have on your brush into those kind of grooves and openings in the stitches. And I'm not gonna like I'm not gonna pat all of this out. I'm gonna leave some on the top just to kind of give it a little bit cooler look. So it started as stark white, and now we're dealing with something like this. It's a little wet. It's not super wet, but I do want to let it dry before I start messing with it. But then I also want to make sure that I do the nose as well. Mostly on the sides for dimension. And then so the nose is quick. Just kind of want to hold it up to the rest of the face. Make sure it's gonna go. I think I need to do the sides a little bit more because they're too white. What a terrible essay. Cockle. Now, when you use the white yarn to sew in your ends, you probably you can paint it then, or you can add some of that color that you're using now to the yarn ends. So it's kind of brushing it on, and then talk a stamp off an envelope. You can also wet your yarn if you want, like really soak it, and then put some water down paint on it, and it kind of blends a little bit easier. But I wasn't looking for like a super smooth blend on anything that I did. So I'm cool with it not being. So I got the strings looking kind of dirty. Then I got the nose looking kind of dirty. So that when I sew it in and you see these come up through the stitches, it's not going to look so stark and crazy white. Feel free to add more. You're just a little nervous that it's going to come poking through. You can always paint more after it's attached, but I just thought it would be easier to paint now. I mean, the shots on goal differential. I mean, some of these games it's kind of crazy how they're playing out. I mean, there's it's 35, 36 shots on goal for Canada, and then it just got blurry. It wasn't my eyes. I think the screen actually just got blurry, and I think it's 16 for Finland, but they're tied at two. I mean, if Finland could get past defense, I decided to go a little bit harder around the edges, a little color play experience. That's way too much green. Damn it. Okay, third's almost up. 40 seconds. Oh my gosh, they scored. Wow. I knew the score, but I didn't know how. That was a game that I would not have expected would have gone like that. Very interesting. I mean, I know they have Crosby out, and I know you can't be like Crosby's the only player on the team because like he's definitely not. They have a bunch of freaking all stars um, on the Canada team, but like, what the hell? This was not an expected. Well, okay, Finland is challenging the goal. Okay, so this is my painted uh, face, and here is the nose. So they look like they go together. Okay, so I'm gonna. Ah! So they might overturn the goal. That's what they're trying to do to Finland is contesting the goal. Okay, they get to keep the goal. So yeah, I want this to dry. I mean, I could just go ahead and start putting it on there, but I really don't want paint on my sewing needle. So this is where we'll hold on to that for now. And so this is what the nose is going to look like on. Pretty cool, hopefully. And then the eyes. 17 seconds. It's my boy Aho. I've been really wanting to make Pennywise, but like the proportions are so nuts, and then also getting its size down is seems pretty intimidating. But we shall see. That might just have to be like a big ass patch. That might just have to be. I mean, he's got this huge head. He's got this like huge hair, and then you want to get like all of these features. That might be like my paint. I think with the how small the detail is, I might just have to paint it. Someone lost a bucket. Someone hasn't opened that. Come on, Aho. Oh, damn it. There's blood. Yeah. Don't push my boy. Pennywise is another one that you could make, especially the newer one. That you could make like kind of grimy and not as stark white, but I think the stark white actually looks really good. So they might add some time, but it'll be like a second or something. Okay, 1.3 seconds. So not a lot to do anything with, but stranger things have happened. Canada wins. I feel like this game has taken a really long time. Yeah, it's almost 2.5 hours of this game. I was expecting to watch the American game as well, but I don't think I have it in me. I'm pretty exhausted. Um, hey Amy, welcome in. Hey Stephanie, welcome in. So I've worked on uh, Billy, and so this is my finished little guy. And then I was working on Jason Voorhees, so I made the shape of his face and his nose and his eyes, and then I did some watered down acrylic paint to kind of give him that I was in a lake for a while look, nice and gross. And and so once he's completely dry, then and I had paint on my hands, but it's the experience because I was rubbing that paint in there. But yeah, I've just been making different little horror icons for the cow. Things are going pretty well so far. Trying to incorporate some different crochet shapes as well as like I want to do as little embroidery as possible or as little, non crochet details as possible, but with the size of what I'm trying to make, some of them are just too small. Um, so, one of the things, Lori and I spent like 2 hours last night trying to crochet a nose shape. And we found some stuff that would work, but it was just too big for the face because you have to incorporate all of these features of Billy's face. And so you couldn't really get all the details that you needed to get on the face if you put this big ass nose on there. So we spent a lot of time trying to get it right and just kind of figured that nothing was going to work. So um, decided to embroider it instead. Order. I said that word. Um, okay, let me get out of here. But yeah, so I'm going through all these different shapes, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you on a live during the halfway to Halloween crochet along. Thank you so much, Stephanie. I'm going to show you how to make these on a live. I will have all of the uh, when I do the lives, I will have all of the things that you will need to do it in the scheduled live beforehand, so that if you want to make it with me while I'm making it, you can. You can ask questions, anything that comes up, and then we'll be making another one. And then if you want to do like a granny square blanket or something, granny square bag, and you want to put these on top of your granny squares, or if you want to attach them however you want, you can have these and kind of do whatever you want with them. What I'm planning on doing is creating a bunch of different faces like this, and then I'm going to create a cardigan at the end of the crochet along, and I'm going to sew all of these patches onto the cardigan, so it's like a um, uh, a jacket with patches on it. And I'm going to use, I showed this earlier, but I'm going to use this yarn that I already got to make a cardigan, which I was planning on doing anyways. But I don't have any. So this is the color. This is the Spun Colors by Premier. You can buy it at Premier. You can buy it at Hirschner's. Very nice acrylic wool blend, very soft, rowing, but the size doesn't change too much as you go through it, which is preferable for some people I know. I think it's a 4-weight. Yes, okay, 65% acrylic, 35% fine merino superwash, number 4 worsted weight. And I got the color mauve, which is not in stock right now, but halfway to Halloween doesn't start until the end of March. So if you wanted that particular color, you could get it. I've always wanted Blue Ridge too. It just looks really gorgeous. But none of my, usually I wear a lot of black and stuff like that. And I figured because so many of these will have black backgrounds or something like that, that you would kind of lose a lot of the detail. But none of them, sorry, none of them have purple that I can think of. So I thought purple would be a nice background for them. And yeah, so I'm gonna do a bunch of these shapes. If you have a particular horror, scary movie, Halloween icon that you would like to do, I just thought of one that I didn't put. But yeah, if you have anyone that you're like, oh, I would love to be able to put this on whatever, like just let me know. I think that would be really fun to do and have it be as interactive as possible. But yeah, I think that was something that we didn't focus on. I think we thought that Halloween was going to be a lot more interactive. People would be making our patterns, and then we could talk about it. And I think just by how we release things, they weren't as interactive. Um, just we just found out that that wasn't kind of what people were doing. So um, I wanted to try something different and see how that worked. So yeah, I'm I'm excited to do that. But yeah, if you all, I mean, we could take some time right now while I'm, so I finished the hockey game. I'm not going to watch the second one right now. I mean, I already know the score. I knew the score of this past game that I just watched. But I'll show you. I'll share the list of what I have already, and then if you can think of some other ones that you would like to see, regardless of how practical they are to make or anything like that. I can add them to the list. I don't have to make them, but I can definitely put them on things I want to try. I keep thinking of ones. Okay, so here's kind of ones that I have, and like I said, like some of these are practical, some of them aren't, and some of them there's just going to be too many to get to. But just to know how I should prioritize things. So I wanted to do Pennywise from It, either one, both, whatever. Freddy from Nightmare on Elm Street, Jason Voorhees, which is me creating this. That's what this is supposed to be. Um, Gremlins, Leprechaun, Elvira, Vampira, Morticia Adams, and really like the whole Adams family. So Morticia, Gomez, Wednesday, Cousin It, Pugsley, all of them are just iconic in how they look. All of them I probably won't have time to make, but like I just put the Adams family on there. A zombie, just kind of a generic zombie. Werewolf, vampire, again, just kind of like generic kind of shapes of how like they should look. Um, Frankenstein's monster, Bride of Frankenstein, Loch Ness monster, Chucky, Ghostface from Scream, Art the Clown, uh, an alien. I wasn't really thinking of like the xenomorph from Alien. I was thinking just like a generic alien, but I guess I could also uh, do like a very specific alien. Although that one seems pretty hard because I feel like getting the detail on that would be pretty difficult, but whatever. Billy from Saw, the Sanderson sisters from Hocus Pocus, just a black cat shape, Jack and Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas. So if you're like, oh, you know what else would be cool? This. Let me know. If anything comes to mind that you're like, this would be really cool to see, um, let me know. I also did this artwork the other day. I've been showing it off. So I had to change the dimensions of my piece of paper so that it would fit a YouTube cover photo. But this is my artwork that I kind of threw together to be the cover artwork for the Halfway to Halloween cow. So just a bunch of different horror icons. Oh, I didn't add Sam. Um, but yeah, all uh, of these little babies. Just like a ghost shape. That's fun. If you think of any, you can let me know in any of my videos, or I'm going to be talking about this for a little while because we have over a month until this starts. But I'm going to be trying to create as much now as I can so that I can I can make sure that the patterns are good, they're easy enough to follow, and then I am trying to have everything ready or most of the things ready before it starts so that I'm not like running around like a chicken with my head cut off when it actually starts, like I did with Halloween. I don't know how long the cow is going to last. Um, I guess it just kind of depends on how many projects I have to do. Um, but I don't want to make it like Halloween was like 2.5 months. It was 10 weeks just of having it. It wasn't even like it wasn't even um, like that didn't include like the planning that went into it, which was like more than a month before that. So that was pretty long and a lot. So yeah, send ideas because that'll kind of help me. If I can see how something can be constructed, then I can get a start on making it look good, or as good as I can make it look, and um, going from there. So, anything else? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know you all will have some good ideas, so just let me know because I'm definitely gonna miss a ton. But yeah, I'm going to let you all go. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it. And I will see you soon for whenever I go live, which I don't have plans for, of course. So talk to you later.